ఓకే మేడం లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఉంది వేరే లిఫ్ట్ దిగిన తర్వాత లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ మరి today and tomorrow. So on twin sharing basis, we will give the accommodation. You please contact our coordinator, Mr. Venkatram. After this, after the. Delegates, speakers, invitees, guests, and honorable members of the government, principals of all degree colleges and IT colleges in particular, press, media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you, and welcome to this. Welcome to this a 2-day workshop. The CIPS Hyderabad to come to the dais to talk with the chair. Sri Ajay Mr. Garu IAS, I invite the Commissioner of College Education, Srimati Sunita IS girl. Please come on to that. I also invite Srimati Jayanti S. Ravi, IAS, the Commissioner of Technical Education, Government of Gujarat. Now we begin with the prayer. The prayer from the students of Andhra Vijayawada College, Vijayawada. Thank you. I request the Honorable Speaker.
Please.
Cancel on it. Yeah.
All three.
All three.
No, one is there. Please, you are the main person.
Moses died for me. Take out the
Okay. ఎవరు ఎదిగించారు
Officer of the Andhra Pradesh header. He joined the state civil services in the year 1977 and was conferred IAS with 1983. Then, regarding his academic excellence, he is a postgraduate in English literature from Osmania University. He retired as the Additional Director General of Dr. Mari Chandareddy Institute, an apex and nodal agency for all training activities pertaining to the government of AP. He had many important positions during his service: Principal Secretary to Pay Revision Commission, Managing Director of Andhra Pradesh Health, Medical, Housing and Infrastructure Development Corporation. He acted as Commissioner of Intermediate Education, Andhra Pradesh also. It is his privilege to work as Deputy Secretary, Joint Secretary, to work for the two top Chief Ministers. As you know already, Sir is taking so many initiatives for the development of higher education, along with our Honorable Commissioner Madam Garu, and I would like to present his educational qualifications. He was a postgraduate student in political science also did MPhil and PhD also there, sir? Yeah, but in the website it is there. In website it was there, sir. He works as assistant collector, sub collector and joint collector and in different cadres in IAS. He is a very senior officer in IAS cadre and I am privileged to present his small introduction. As you know, our Honorable Madam K. Sunita Garu, right from the assuming of the chair as a Commissioner of Higher Education, improve the results and so many initiatives Madam has taken up and as you know already, she has changed the entire education system, higher education within a span of 2 years and everything was set right and I am happy to present Madam's biodata. Madam worked as Deputy Commissioner of Commercial Taxes, Managing Director, AP State Handloom Weavers, Managing Director for AP State Handloom Weavers, Director, Deputy Secretary level, Backward Classes, Welfare, Mission Director, Urban Development Department, and now the Director, Commissioner of College Education. Now she has been conferred as the Commissioner designation right now since 1 year, and apart from was law very well, and many new initiatives like research in colleges, universities, and you know that the introduction of human values and professional ethics, that paper at graduate level is the brainchild of our beloved Commissioner Madam. So apart from that, she has taken initiation to conduct the youth festival every year and also to present the awards to the best students in various activities and also for a tremendous change she brought in the Department of College Education. Thank you, Madam, and thank you for giving me this great opportunity. Now,
Principal of Siddhartha College, Roman, introduce our guest,
Jayanti.
Jayanti ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you. I feel it my proud privilege to introduce Sriman Jayanti S. Ravi, IAS, Commissioner Technical Education, Government of Gujarat. Sriman Jayanti S. Ravi was born on August 17, 1967. She is an IAS officer of Gujarat, cadre of 1991 batch. Her mother tongue is Tamil and she speaks English, Hindi, Gujarat and French. She is presently Commissioner, Technical Education, Government of Gujarat. She did her post-graduation in nuclear physics at University of Madras with distinction. She also obtained post-graduation in public administration from Harvard University, MPA from John F. Kennedy School, Harvard University, Certificate in Public Policy Management from John F. Kennedy School, Harvard University, and also PhD in Management at MS University, Baroda. She participated in the programs of national and international seminars at different places. Thank you, ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am, to this workshop, and thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Madam Dr. Vijayalakshmi. Now I request Chakrapani Garu, the Director of CIPS, and to give a brief about the concept of this workshop. Thank you.
Mr. Ajay Mishra, Principal Secretary, Higher Education. Mrs. Sunita, Commissioner, College Education. Mrs. Jayanti Ravi, Commissioner, Technical Education, Government of Gujarat. Distinguished resource persons, Mrs. Dr. Nachia, a very distinguished person from Arvind Eye Care, the sister of Dr. Venkataswamy who started the Arvind Eye Care, Dr. VVR Shastri, Mr. VVR Shastri, presently is Executive Director CDOT and formerly Chairman of the BL, Bangalore, Mr. Chauhan, a distinguished professor from Aligarh University, Mrs. Kalika Khandelwal, a very distinguished professor from Lady Siram College, New Delhi, friends from various degree colleges. I would have wished the junior colleges also to have been invited, but we have constraints. Having been Commissioner of Intermediate Education for a long period of 3.5 years, and young friends who are adorning this auditorium from different colleges. I am very happy to be here with all of you. The Center for Innovations in Public Systems, some of you may know but most may not, is a center set up with funding from Government of India through the 13th Finance Commission. It started functioning in the premises of Administrative Staff College of India. We are not part of ASCII, but we function from the premises of ASCII. The mandate of this center is to identify, document, disseminate, and try to replicate the innovative practices for enhancing service delivery. In terms of the mandate given to me by the Steering Committee of CIPS, we focus on 4 areas, namely education, health, urban governance, and e-governance. We have so far been able to conduct, thanks to the help of different state governments, about 65 programs all over the country in the last 3 years, and certainly a significant number of them have been conducted after I took charge after my retirement in the year 2011. We have so far established linkages with about 17 state governments and union territories, and a number of not-for-profit organizations like Arvind Eye Care, CMC Vellore, Jana Swasthya Sahayog Kendra of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh now, and a number of institutions. We are fortunate that we have been able to start replication of 8 to 9 significant practices in the fields of health, education, urban governance, and e-governance. We have conducted a collectors workshop. We have conducted programs at Vellore, Madurai, Labasna, Masuri, and workshops in the states of Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and also have been able to establish linkages through workshops and facilitation programs in Assam, Meghalaya, etc. We have created a database of about 120 items in different fields, documented about 17 to 18 of them with details of the processes, and we are strongly now in the process of replicating the Arvind Eye Care model in 6 states and the integration of medical education in primary and healthcare institutions in 5 medical colleges all over the country. And these 5 medical colleges are Patiala of Punjab, Vadodara of Gujarat, Jorhat of Assam, Agartala of Tripura, and Rangaraya Medical College, Kakinada. Very often questions are asked as to is it possible to replicate the models in the not-for-profit sector in public institutions. I fail to understand why we cannot do it. If a doctor in Arvind Eye Care can perform 2,000 cataract surgeries per year on an average, and the best of doctors is ending up with a meager 200 per year in public institutions, apparently something is wrong. Something needs to be done. And the public institutions have the best of talents in this country, both in education and in health. Unfortunately, at least in parts of this state and parts of the south, we have given ourselves to the corporate sector. It is time we look at our own practices. I am very fond of mentioning this because as Commissioner of Intermediate Education, I found that the total number of institutional efforts in a government junior college is not more than 800 to 900 per year, whereas the best in the corporate college, in some of the best private institutions, is more than 2,000 per year. I am talking of the institutional instruction. So we are structuring ourselves into non-performance in public institutions. Though we have the best of talents, the society has given people who are reasonably well endowed, reasonably well paid. I am very fond of mentioning this, that the average per capita income of a citizen in Andhra Pradesh is just about 71,000 rupees per year. All the government employees certainly get far more than this. There are any number of inspirational examples that are available in our midst. We need to imbibe the spirit of these and move forward. As part of this process, we have been able to identify some of the best practices and try to integrate it. Similarly, the corporate sector in the health sector. I know how the corporate sector is plundering in the name of providing health care. We have a study conducted by the Cochrane Center, Vellore, which looks at evidence-based medical practices. And this study reveals that the mortality of those suffering from terminal illnesses, in the case of those where detailed diagnostic test has been done, is 72%. And the mortality in those cases where no such diagnostic test has been done is 73. Why are we subjecting the society to this kind of a plunder? That is because somewhere down the line the public sector has willingly facilitated the emergence of this corporate sector. So we need to, as part of the governance, as part of the commitment to the society, look at some of these practices. There may not be inventions, there may not be innovations, but certainly there are best practices which we need to look at. As part of this process, we thought we should bring people together, sensitize them, and ignite that feeling of being able to do something for the society. I am sure all of you have this feeling. All of you want to go down at the end of your career that you have contributed something to the society. Give back to the society. society what we have obtained. The society has given lot of facilities, lot of awareness, consciousness. All the government employees today are far more fortunate than the government employees of 30 or 40 years. I'm talking of not only government employees, employees of those who are aided by the society. I know that there are a number of principals of the aided colleges here. It is time for us to give back to society what we have taken from the society. I am sure you as principals have it in you to ignite this field. It is with this purpose we thought we would bring the best of practices all over the country. I am very happy that distinguished resource persons came. Here is a resource person from Gujarat who will speak of the best practices in Gujarat. Then Lady Sri Ram College, your commissioner was insistent on bringing representatives of the Lady Sri Ram College, and we have been able to luckily get Dr. Kanika Khandelwal to agree to come here. Lady Sri Ram College has a course in conflict resolution. What better place to start a conflict resolution than with a ladies' college? A lady resolves day in and day out the conflicts at home. We have a very distinguished professor from Aligarh who has been looking at the best practices in SAARC countries in higher education. We have Dr. Nachia, the sister of the legendary figure, Dr. Venkat Swami, who after retirement, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, after his retirement started this Arvind Eye Care institution, and today Arvind Eye Care is an institution where the intraocular lenses are exported to 130 countries. The cost of the intraocular lens has been brought down from about 10,000 rupees to about 50 to 70 rupees, which is at the lowest level of the performance. I mean, lowest level of providing very effective eye care. These are the models that we should imbibe, understand, and what is more important, replicate. You have the advantage of technology which is not there about 40 years back. We have the advantage of Mr. V.V.R. Shastri will speak to you about the rollout of the National Optic Fiber Network, which is going to be rolled out to all the gram panchayats in the country in the next 1 or 2 years. How do I make use of this infrastructure? Those of you who have suffered by discussion or talk in the Hyderabad University would know how I spoke of the possibilities that are emerging in the wake of the NOFL. How do we reorient the institutions? How do we dismantle the physical spaces? How do we network with institutions in the wake of this? These are the issues. I am glad that Mr. Ajay Mishra and Mrs. Sunita have agreed to come tomorrow. Dr. Jayaprakash Rao, Chairman of the State Council, will be there to deliver the valedictory. Here we have to facilitate. Here we have to replicate. There is this model of biodigester which is being implemented in Lakshadweep for disposal of human waste. 12,000 units of biodigesters are being installed in Lakshadweep, and I had the opportunity of taking a delegation from Meghalaya, headed by the Minister for Rural Development, who studied the biodigester model. This country, which is famous for its open defecation, I am sure will find a solution in biodigesters. All the railway coaches are being fitted with biodigesters. All the new coaches would necessarily have the biodigesters. So, you as principals and lecturers may kindly ignite the young minds. That's why there are some youngsters who are also invited. I am very happy they came. On 2nd of August, we are conducting a program on creative leadership, bringing representatives, one representative from USA, who will speak on the development of leadership and its sustenance. We are also bringing in Mr. Balasubramaniam, who is heading the Vijayawada movement in Bangalore. The issue is, are we nurturing leadership in these institutions, in these colleges? Are we nurturing them in an institutional fashion? Are we updating our own knowledge to be able to play this leadership role? I have requested all the principals to spend at least half an hour every day in reading and knowledge acquisition. Today it's very easy, thanks to the net. Unless we update our knowledge, we will not be able to play this leadership role. I am sure some of you have already been doing it. We would like to recognize those best practices. We would like to showcase those best practices. We would like to document the best practices. The CIPS, the Center for Innovations, is only too happy to document any of the best practices that you have been practicing. I know a lot of good things are happening all over the country. We need to showcase them. We need to bring them up. And show to the rest of the world that this is not a country which is lagging behind. If the infrastructure in China has created a train network which runs between 350 to 500 kilometers per hour, there is no reason why we cannot do it. And if some of the railway stations in China are far better than the airports in this country, we need to showcase that. We need to understand this. So, gentlemen and ladies, I am very happy that all of you have chosen to come here. You as principals have a great responsibility. You are an opinion maker. You are the leaders. You are those who are in charge of the destinies of these children. And I am sure all of you have, within your experience, somebody coming up after 20 years saying, "Sir, you taught me and I got this from you and today I am what I am because of you." I think that's a feeling of great satisfaction, and I am sure all of you have this in you, and we would like to nurture more of that among the educated people, the leaders of education. And I am happy that the government of Andhra Pradesh and the local college principals have significantly contributed to this effort, and CIPS will be very happy in taking this forward. Thank you very much.
The state of Andhra Pradesh, the education department, they are well aware that how changes have brought in interval education for 4 years. So now we are very happy that the innovations, which is now talk of the world, certainly our faculty and our principals will take into this consideration, and then
Respected CIPS Director Chakapanigar, Principal Secretary Ajay Mishra, JT Natrajan Commission Basic Education Gujarat, all the esteemed speakers, Vice Chancellor Kuntur, and all my principals, lecturers, students, and all the esteemed guests here. Good morning to all of you all. I must first place my thanks to our respected Chakapanigar for holding this conference here. I was requesting him that we should be having something on higher education because sir was otherwise focusing on school and education, and he has done this workshop just for us. We owe him a big thank you, and I request you all to clap your hands and smile. Before I start my presentation, I just want to show you a short overview of the state higher education department, college education department. We have 258 colleges in the government sector, 209 colleges in the private sector, and 1742 colleges in the private unaided sector, and roughly around 5 lakhs students. The government colleges have 1,90,751 students, private unaided have 1,63,899, and the rest of all 3 lakhs are in the private sector. The college education department, this is for those who come from outside, it deals with the government colleges and the private aided colleges. We have a commission rate, and we have 5 regional directors, one at Rajahmundry, whose president here Mr. Moses, Guntur, Kadapa, Warangal, and Hyderabad. we are understaffed, but I think our officers still work hard and try to make a mark. Regarding the profile of the students, 30% of them belong to arts, 32% belong to commerce, and 38% belong to science in the government sector. And in the private aided sector, we have 16% in arts, 44% in commerce, and 40% in science. Just another. Regarding the social profile, a lot of people project that government colleges are being are having a lot of socially backward students, and if you see this profile, it is true, because our profile shows that other than 16% which belongs to forward community, the rest 26% belong to SC, 11% STs, and 47 BC. That is, the majority people are coming from these areas, and we are proud that we are able to serve the needs of these socially backward students. And I move on to the initiatives, because this is about innovative practices. What we have done, when I joined, already there were a lot of initiatives going on in the college education. I had illustrious predecessors like Lakshmi Narayan, who had initiated a lot of good practices, and other commissioners also. One of them is the Mana TV. Mana TV is for people from outside. This is a satellite channel sponsored by the Government of India, SAPNet. It is meant for relaying a specific channel to all education institutions, and it is free of cost. And college education, we use the maximum space in that particular channel, and we relay all sorts of education programs. I also started doing a lot of social issues on that. Like we had a session for the blind where many of the blind lecturers came forward and taught students how they can learn, what kind of knowledge they can get from the internet, and how to actually become successful. We found PhDs also among the disabled blind lecturers, and we found very effective speakers there. So we thought it was a very good encouragement to the blind students. We have also done a program on the socially disabled, not disabled, social problems of women and SCs and STs on this program. We also, in this channel, we can also interact with the lecturers and students. So there is a question hour time where the students ask us questions, and then we answer and reply and get to interact with them. There is this other initiative, the JKC, the Job and Knowledge Center. This is meant for improving communication skills and building and confidence in the students so that they can face the interviews. This was very successful at one point of time where the students wanted to go out after taking for employment, and there was a lot of jobs available. Now this program is sort of moved into another fold where the students who are actually competent and who can get jobs no longer want to go for that small job because they know that they can do something better. They're moving on to post-graduation, and only the persons who don't want to do a job, don't want to study because of some economic considerations are moving on into jobs. But this, we are encouraging it because we believe that it improves the communication skills, gives them a little confidence, improves their English speaking skills, which are very essential for their jobs and for their future life. And we are no longer seeing it as a job-giving initiative, but as an initiative which improves communication skills among the students. We also have the English Language Fellow program. That is a program in view with the US Embassy, where the US Embassy sponsors some people to come and speak and teach the lecturers. Many of our master trainers were trained by some lecturers sponsored by the US Embassy. Joseph Dwelby came last year, and he has taught a lot of them, and they had conducted a lot of workshops. And our lecturers found those courses very interesting, informative, and useful. We also are pushing a lot of colleges into NAC, and I'm proud to say that government colleges are the highest NAC accredited colleges in terms of percentages. And this year a lot more are going to accreditation. And after our principal secretary has joined, and he has given more emphasis to NAC accreditation, and he is insisting that universities should be moving on to this direction. Then there was the academic audit which I have started after coming here. This is not a new practice. I feel that all practices what we officers in various capacities do are always practices, most of the time, which are reinvented, which are actually useful to the society but have been stopped for some reason. This is one such academic audit, was one such thing. Because it so happens when the officer sits and then finds a malady and you say that, okay, I think this is how we should deal it, and somebody tells you, ma'am, this is already there. I mean, this practice was already there, but it's not being done now. And I feel happy when I hear that, because it means that somebody else has actually applied in the same manner. I mean, all of us think in the same manner. This is what I believe, and this is what I see when I see the solutions to. So academic audit was one such thing. We sent a group of officers, in the beginning we used to send from our academic cell in the commissionerate to the colleges, where they sort of point out the kind of lapses which are happening in the college in a not punitive manner. They just say that this is how you should be doing it, this is what you're not doing, and record it in that, and they say this, you should take some action to rectify this. In the beginning, I was told that the colleges were not too happy because this was somebody coming from the higher education department. They were very apprehensive that probably we will take disciplinary action based on this. Though we kept telling them that, see, this is just a kind of forum where you get to know what all you should be doing. It strengthens you, because sometimes the principals are not very dominating and they're not able to actually push through what they want to do. So that is what happened. And then what we did is we took a strategy to overcome this. We started getting people from the colleges, lecturers from the colleges, trained them on how to do it, and then we send them to the colleges. In the beginning, the first year when I sent my own people, because of other schedules and burden of work, they could only cover 33 colleges. But when we did the second practice, we could cover 250 colleges. And we have a reasonably good idea of now what is happening in the colleges. And this year, I think this is last year, this year again the academic schedule has started, and the college academic audit has started again. We have also initiated the academic calendar. Because we felt that there was a lack of formal schedule of activities, and we actually created a calendar, and we sent it to all the colleges saying that these are all activities which should be happening. In that is also an activity of our own commissionerate, which we say this month commissionerate should be doing this activity, and we mention all those activities, and we strongly stick to that guidelines and in that month. The next is the women empowerment cell. Because a lot of girls are there, we had started it, and in this cell we requested that girls should be able to come forward and give voice out their problems, whatever they are having, teasing or other problems. And when the Union Minister had come to Central University, and he said after the Nirbhaya incident that you should start a women empowerment cell, all my principals proudly said, sir, we already have it in place. We don't have to start it now. Then the other initiative is human values. The whole thing of the whole program is because of the initiative taken by our principal secretary. We have been talking about introducing models last year, but we were actually lost because we didn't know how exactly to do it. And when Sir joined, and then I said, Sir, this is what we wanted to do, and Sir said, why are you searching? There is this book. Triple IT has already done something. I think we should just take their services. And then we took the services of Triple IT, and we started this program. This is because we find that today all the students are moving more and more towards professional colleges, commercial activities. They're becoming more materialistic. They're not actually thinking in terms of improving their own human value or improving the values in the society. Hence, we thought this was necessary. We started discussing with a small group of lecturers and principals and lecturers all agreed that human values was required. Then we had a small workshop in which all the vice chancellors were invited by the principal secretary, and he initiated this idea of the vice chancellor saying that, what do you think? Do you think we should start this kind of program? and all the VCs. I thank all the VCs for their support. They all agreed that this should be in place, and all the vice chancellors in that forum were willing to start this. And for people who think that we have been doing a lot of work on this, actually we started this pretty late, because I had gone on leave and I joined in around March, and then I think we started this around April. And but I'm just commend my whole set of officers here, my academic side, and the other people who were involved in the whole exercise. They have kept doggedly working on this. They have not given it up. They had series of workshops. Now when we look back, I feel it's unbelievable that we could have done so much in such a short time. The kind of intensity we could have pumped into this program. Everybody was only talking about this one program. We said, no, we will do this, and we started on 24/13 with the workshop with principals. 27/4 we had this Vice Chancellor's seminar workshop. Then subsequently we had a 3-day orientation program from 2 to 4th in IIIT for the principals, and 5-day master program from 25 to 24/5 again in IIIT for all the lecturers. We had 3 sets of master trainers program. After the first 2 sets, we took the final set, and in the final set we had it in again this Sarn and Maratini, so that all the lecturers in all the colleges could watch this, and they need not come here, because in terms of numbers, the lecturers, I think 5,000 lecturers in government colleges, 6,000 lecturers in aided colleges, and so many more in the unaided colleges. It's not easy to actually train them, and we finished that, and after that we started in the month of July. We also had a one-day workshop through video conference where all these issues were discussed, and in June we start. In July we started this training program at the district level. We had the first 2 programs of 8 to 10 and 15 to 17, and the last one was from 22nd to 24th. And after each of these programs, we used to have one-day video conference at the secretariat, which Pradeep, our master trainer, used to take all the questions from the lecturers. And in the video conference, which I used to attend, and after we also had attended one conference, we used to see the enthusiasm of the lecturers. This was one program which everybody felt totally in sync with. They actually enjoyed the program, they wanted to be a part of it, and they also wanted to inculcate it among the others. Though some of them were a little skeptical as to the speed in which we are doing it and whether they would be actually able to do it. But the continuous drawing of all this has helped them. Then the other initiative which we started this year is residential community colleges. There is only one community college which is under our control, it's Jubilee colleges, and we have a lack of funds to actually do much on the construction side. So we planned a residential degree college which is going to be funded by the subplan under SEs, and yesterday I happened to see that land also, it has come up, it's going to come up in Kanchikicharla. It's going to be a real good college. We wanted for that residential college specifically a center of excellence, and for that I requested Sir to call Sriram College here so that we could actually take something, because they were supposed to be one of the top colleges in commerce side. We couldn't actually have an interface with them. So I said, sir, please call them so that at least we can get in touch with them here and take some learnings from them. We want that this residential college should really function well, and we are pumping in a lot of infrastructure into it. I think we are we are going to spend 32 crores on that one college, and we wanted to have everything right from the auditorium, indoor stadium, library, reading room, hostels and everything. And we hope that one day we will come back to this area and probably see that college and say this is what we have done during that period. This is some of the initiatives which we have taken from college education, and I thank again our Principal Secretary for his total support to all the programs, even if he felt that probably it was too hurried or if he felt it was not possible. He never stopped us from any of these programs. He allowed us to do it. He gave us a total free hand. And Chikrapani Garu for all his support and encouragement. And all my principals here who have actually made this all these programs lecturers and staff. Thank you.
The department is already with a lot of best practices and use, and one such is the human values implementation. This is the first state might be in the country that introducing the human values across the this department, college of education. So thank you, ma'am. Now we have the two vice chancellors with us, Professor. The time is running short for this inauguration, but now before the chief guest address, Ajay Mishra Garu, I request Vijayawada Rao Garu to give a brief about the innovation this morning.
Distinguished guests on the dais, the most respected Principal Secretary of Higher Education in our state, Sri Ajay Mishra Garu, the Director of the Center for Innovations in Public Systems, an organ of the Administrative Staff College of India, which has become quite dynamic and active after he has taken up the charge of this most prestigious center, respected Chikrapani Garu, the Commissioner of Collegiate Education, respected Madam Sunita Garu, the resource person who has gone over here to deliver the talk, respected JNT, Commissioner Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, my fellow Vice Chancellor, George Victor Garu, distinguished principals, invitees, press and media. I wish to take the first opportunity to congratulate the Principal Secretary Ajay Mishra Garu and Madam Sunita for taking this initiative of organizing a two-day workshop on innovations in education, health, urban governance and e-governance. After assuming the charge as the Commissioner of College Education, Madam has started putting in practice several initiatives, and I think as principals you have been experiencing the change that she has been intending to bring about in the higher education system of our state. And also I have the highest respect and appreciation for the initiatives of the Principal Secretary, respected Ajay Mishra Garu, after he has taken over the charge. And really it is time that as the captains of higher education, we focus our attention, the utmost attention that is desired in trying to innovate in terms of the higher education. Not only at the national level but also at the regional level, particularly the system that is in vogue at Andhra Pradesh. Friends, I wish to approach this subject for only few minutes as to the innovations that are expected of in the higher education system in our country. I wish to bring to your notice on three aspects: the philosophy of Indian education, the policy initiatives that should go along with the philosophy to which we are wedded, and the third is the practice, the initiatives that we implement, that we take up to put our philosophy and policy in practice. Friends, I am convinced that so far if at all there has been any philosophy of Indian education, the only system that people often talk about is the system that was put in place by Lord Macaulay. There have been great philosophers. I think that is the subject of my fellow Vice Chancellor George Victor to speak about the different kinds of philosophies that go into this, and more particularly as they are akin to education. And Confucius, a great philosopher, has talked so much about the education. And such should have been the focus when we intend to speak about the reforms and innovations in higher education. At least I believe time is very opportune that we focus our attention on the kind of philosophy as a foundation for the Indian higher education system. Many people have cudgels against the system of education that was being run in India, not only in our state but also in the country as a whole. But attempts were very little and precious little as far as changing the entire edifice is concerned. Friends, as distinguished principals, you are really required to think about the kind of philosophy that which suits to India in changing the educational scenario in this country. I have the opinion that it is time that we think of nativizing our systems, and more particularly that shall start with education. When I consider nativization or Indianization of the education, as we have been attempting to do in terms of the technology, science and other areas, that education is an integral system of the whole thing. So in that context, we are really required to relook into our strengths and also our areas of concern. If we go into the history of the countries, only those countries that have really built their systems and built their practices on the foundations, on the cultural foundations of the nations, they all have got advanced. We can quote the experiences of Japan, even now some of the countries around us in the South Asia. And such should be the basis that we should think as to the kind of educational system we want to implement. In fact, we all have got so much ingrained into the Western thoughts of education, particularly if I am required to quote from my own discipline, the management. We long have only studied the Western philosophy of management. Never we felt convinced that there is an Indian thought that which can be ingrained into the principles and the practices that we adopt are being adopted by the Indian companies. And happy that now there has been a focus on trying to Indianize things, particularly in the practices of management, where people have been considering that there is a treasure of knowledge in terms of our mythological contributions. It would be true for every area of activity. And as a matter of fact, application of the advancements in the technology are being considered as the innovations. It is true in terms of education, it is also true in terms of other areas. That they have improved, true, have improved upon the efficiency. While we talk about the e-governance, while we talk about the networking of the organizations, and it is all the advancement of technology. But what I sincerely wish to bring to your notice that it shall be coupled with a philosophy behind, and that should be a philosophy in which we really believe in. And if at all we have the respect towards our own heritage and cultural foundations, that the philosophy of Indian education, at least it is even not late that we should try to wed ourselves to this kind of a thing. And as far as the policy is concerned, there have been many issues that we really need to innovate. Innovations have happened, and several commissions and committees and also policy makers have attempted to bring in many changes that which really can be considered innovative as of that day. I quote a simple example whereby the 1986 new educational policy, when an idea has been thrown for discussion like delinking of degrees from jobs, an innovative idea where it has not been practiced. And I think there was a lot of discussion that was generated when such of the ideas were presented through this new educational policy during the time of Rajiv Gandhi. And similarly, there has been an idea in terms of the Knowledge Commission. Perhaps many of you might have also read, there were so many discussions and deliberations on some of the ideas that were presented there. In addition to the setting up of so many universities in the country, in terms of the central and the state government sectors. Certain of the ideas like as it is going to be very amusing, like delinking the degrees from the jobs, thinking of delinking evaluation from classrooms, that a separation of teaching from evaluation. These are all some of the ideas in terms of the policy that which really make us think as to the innovations we are trying to attempt. And in terms of practice also there could be several practices, several ways of achieving the objective and also the philosophy which we are trying to implement. In that context, the practices which the educational system now is trying, particularly aiming at improving upon the quality of the higher education. I think whenever discussions of this kind or the workshops or seminars and conferences take place on higher education or education per se, that quality is going to be one of the issues for a great debate. And particularly this is going to improve upon our own practices. But the new initiatives, I think, which Madam Sunita has been taking up in the context of reforming this, which should have happened as a country that which believes in the foundations of the Indian culture that we are trying to teach, which should have been a core of the philosophy, is now considered to be an add-on in the whole educational system. That is where we are really required to think as to the direction which we are trying to take up and implement. And even in the practices, I think we are all trying to implement so many such areas where we focus our attention on the practices that we can implement in our own educational systems and educational institutions. Particularly, I think the process of accreditation has really changed the orientation of the educational institutions as to the way that they are trying to conduct themselves in the terms of classroom teaching or in terms of the practices or in terms of the field work, other things. Friends, that here it is the requirement that we have to also think as to the systems that which are trying to practice and ignoring certain of the necessary things like our orientation and emphasis on the practicals, particularly field work and other things, and experimentation. You may agree with me that when I say it is the experimentation that can be considered as the hallmark of the growth of science and technology. But our educational institutions and our system has not been laying the equal emphasis or the emphasis that is desired on some of these things. And it is only now that educational institutions are trying to focus their attention and then trying to increase or enhance the percentage from about 15 to 20 and all. And in a way, what we have lost or what we have forgotten, now we are attempting to introduce in the form of trainings, and more particularly focus has been on improving upon the skills or skill set of our young friends, young student friends. And there has been so much of focus on the skill development of this country, which should have been a part of our system, is now considered hived out, and now we are trying to plug in. And these are, in my opinion, some of the issues I think which would be so palatable and generate further discussion. I thank Principal Secretary and the Madam also for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So before we move on to the first session of this workshop by Srimad Jayanti Garu, I request our chief guest of the today's inaugural session, Sri Ajay Mishra IS Garu, the Principal Secretary Higher Education, to deliver his